Hello guys and welcome back. We are going to be introducing a brand new feature into application, and this is the concept of tags. So when we're building a blog, actually introducing tags into application is really important because it's going to be used for search engine optimization. So how are we going to get tags in application? So obviously we need a tag table. So let's go ahead and create that. So in my command line, I'm going to run php artisan make model, and I'll call that tag. And since I need a migration, I'm going to put the -m option and run the command. Okay, so model created and I have a tags table. So let's head over to that create tags table, and it's just going to be a very simple table. So I'll say table, and this is going to be a string, and it's going to have a tag field, and that's all. Okay, so we just have the tag right there. Now we need to associate our post with our tags. How is this going to look like? This brings us to the concept of a new relationship called many-to-many relationships. And what are many-to-many relationships? Remember, for one-to-many relationships, a category can have many posts, and a post can belong to only one category. So one-to-many relationship. But in this case, a post, can have many tags, and a tag can actually belong to different posts. Okay, so if I create a tag and I call it coding, that coding tag can belong to a post called WordPress theme development, and it can also belong to a post called build an HTML website from scratch. And also we see that in this case many posts are associated to this tag, and actually those single posts can have maybe a coding tag and also have CSS tag. So it means a post can have many tags and a tag can also have many posts. So this is how we're gonna set up the relationship. Let's head over to our tag.php, and obviously we need a name for the relationship. So we'll say public function, and we're gonna call it post. Okay, so a tag with many posts. Okay, so what we're gonna say is return this belongs to many app post there. Okay, so we set the name of the relationship, it's called post, and we say a tag belongs to many posts. Okay, so a tag belongs to many posts, meaning that a post can have maybe a coding tag, and it can also have a CSS3 tag and all that. But now how do we set up that for our post model? So let's head over to post.php, and we'll need to create a new function for the relationship. So we'll say public function, and we'll call this tags in plural. Why? Because we know that we're gonna have multiple tags for a particular post. So we'll say return this belongs to many. Notice how I'm using exactly the same function right here, and this is gonna tell Laravel some important details. Okay, so that's app tag there. Okay, so this post belongs to many tags. Okay, so maybe a post can belong to a coding tag, and it can also belong to a CSS3 tag and all that. But now there's one thing that's missing. How do we track this? Because remember, in our post table we don't have anything that identifies the tag. In our tags table we don't have anything that identifies the post. This brings us to the concept of a pivot table. Don't be scared about the name, nothing strange. It just simply means that we'll have a table where we store the tag ID and the post ID, and from that table we'll be able to identify the association between the tags and the post. Okay, so let's create a migration that is going to create that table. So we'll say php artisan make migration, and this is the command that we use to create a migration singly. So what are we going to say? We're going to say create a table. And what is the name of this table gonna be? By convention, Laravel expects us to give a particular naming system. So we have a tags table and we have a post table. So Laravel expects us to, first of all, get the singular of this. So we'll have tag and we'll have post, and the next thing is to set them in alphabetical order. So P comes before T, I think. PQRST. So P comes before T. So we'll say post and we'll say tag. Okay, so post is the name of the first table and tag is the name of the second table. So for us to create that pivot table, we'll have a create post tag table. That's the name of our migration, and we'll run that. Okay, so you see create post tag table migration has been created. Okay, so let's hurry up to that migration. So we'll say create post tag, and this table is gonna have two fields. Okay, so first of all, we need to set up our schema. Okay, so we'll say schema create, and this create method takes in the name of the post table. So we'll say post tag is the name of the table we want to get, and we'll pass in a closure right here, and this closure takes in an instance of the blueprint, and we'll call that instance table. Okay, so in that closure right there, we should be able to use our table, and we'll need an increment, and it's going to be called ID, and we'll also need some timestamps. So we'll say timestamps right there. Okay, so now for our table, what we'll need is a field to track the ID of the post. So we'll say integer, which is going to be post ID, and we'll have another integer, and this is going to be tag ID. Okay, so what would happen is when we query, for example, a particular post and we want to get all the tags, it's just going to go to this table, and it's going to fetch all the rows where the post ID is the post that we're trying to find the tags for, and it's just going to get all those rows, and it's going to find all the tags where the tag ID is this, and then it's going to return it to us. Don't worry, we'll be seeing this in more practice. So this method is going to be run when we migrate, and let's go ahead and just say schema drop the post tag table. So post tag. Okay, so that's it. We've set up our migration. Let's go ahead and run it. So php artisan migrate is going to migrate the tags table and also the create post tag table. Okay, so that's our tag table and our post tag table. Everything looks great, and we've set up our relationships, but now we need to have a create, read, update, delete for our tags table. Let's take care of that in the next lesson.